Here we go, here we go, here we go. All right. Hello out there, YouTube world. To me, lcadilac. I did not come to you to talk to you on Friday about the Young Thug trial for two reasons last week. One, Belen was on her spring break, so she couldn't make me my thumbnail. And two, Belen was on spring break, and I want to make sure she did not miss out on this information. So, we're having our stream today on Monday. I'm assuming everyone's at work right now. I hope you're having a great Monday. And I am going to tell you, in the description I put day 41 and 42. I meant 42 and 43. So first, let's just start with a little bit of math. The trial itself began in January of 2023. Okay. Then the jury was seated November 28th-ish of 2023. So we'll just say December. December to January is 1 month. January to February is 2 months. February to March is 3 months. And now we're on March 18th. So we're at 3 months plus 18 days. That's 118 days of trial. Yet we are on only day 42 and 43. So out of 100, what did I say, 118 days that the jury has been seated, only 43 of those have had any sort of presentation of any sort. When I say this is going to be the longest trial in the history of man, I mean it. It's already the longest trial in the history of Georgia. Okay. And I don't know if y'all recall, actually I was reminded by this trial, Georgia was one of the original 13 colonies. So Georgia was one of the original states. So this is the longest trial in the history of a state that's been around since 1776. Let that sink in, y'all. This is the longest trial for a state that has been around since 1776. We have had 118 days of jury time and only 43 days in front of the jury. And in fact, it was only 42 because on day 42, the jury did not come in front of anyone. So let's get into day 42. All right, here we have YSL Steele, Brian Steele, about to argue why this case should be dismissed. And surprisingly, on this day, Judge Glanville was actually listening to the defense. We are using the video from this young man, Cuff Boys, Cam Haller. This is for learning purposes. This is fair use. So here we go.
Dismissed. This is outrageous. It doesn't work that way, Mr. Steele. I'm sorry. It does work that way. No, it does not. No, it doesn't. And you haven't presented any case law to tell me how to do that. And I'm telling you, first
of all, I love how YSL Steele has no problem arguing with the judge. Usually for me, like when a judge makes a ruling, I kind of just go with that. For me, it's like, I will argue still maybe once more or again at a later time. But when they made a ruling, they made a ruling. And it's something like, okay, let them have their ruling. I can always go to the appeals court and argue it, right? Like, when I get pulled over, I don't argue with the cop. Hey, do you know why you're pulled over? No, just give me the ticket, you know. Like, I'm going to argue in the courtroom, right? Here, in this case, I'm not going to argue with the judge. I make my arguments to the judge, and the judge makes the ruling, and I might kind of say, well, think about XYZ maybe, or I'll get some new facts at a later time, come back to it. But I'm not just sitting there hounding. You're about to see Miss Love do this, and you can see that it really pisses the judge off. And that's why I don't do it, because the judge is my audience, right? I'm not going to piss off the jury either. That's my audience. These are the people who help me win. So, all right, here we go. So this, I hate Miss Love, by the way. She drives me freaking crazy.
That were made after that time.
And she's not happy with the ruling, and she tries to fight it, of course.
So
And this isn't going to go well.
It was the defendant that reinitiated the conversation with Detective Thorpe. Our representations to the court are not evidence, and since the state has the burden of proof.
Okay, but I've seen the video at this point in time.
Video does not encompass when the defendant actually reinitiated.
Okay, so this discussion, there's one defendant. It's not Jeffrey Williams. It's this other guy who's sitting in the front. I don't know his name, but he got arrested on something, and he told the police, I don't want to talk anymore. I want my lawyer. Okay. Well, that's cool. That, at that point, is a dead stop for the police. When you invoke your right to an attorney, they must stop. No more questioning. So what they did is they took the kid outside and gave him a cigarette and a sandwich or something. And then they started questioning him again without a lawyer. And so the judge correctly, is saying, no, we can't have that. We're not going to be able to have that testimony. He's asked for a lawyer, so anything that came after that request is out. Miss Love doesn't like that.
Contact.
Well, then it looks like you're screwed. It's not on video.
He invokes, and then we don't know what goes on in the 45 minutes, but we come back afterwards, and at that point in time, you don't get to eat your cake, have your cake and eat it too.
Mm-hmm.
It's once he invokes, that's it. It's over.
Your Honor,
They should not be bringing him back at that point in time and asking, well, let me just clarify a little bit about whether or not these statements were made to these set of detectives.
First, the defendant asked for a smoke.
Okay, that is correct. The judge is correct. Yet this woman just keeps hounding.
So they took him out for a smoke. When they took him out for a smoke, the defendant reinitiated the conversation as they went outside. That is what they found in the district court, but the court doesn't owe that deference. That is why we have, as a burden of proof, holding the burden of proof, that is the reason we have Detective Thorpe here to testify.
I don't need his, I'll consider it. It's this court's opinion that once he invokes, you don't get another bite of the apple by taking him
Good.
outside, softening
Thank
him up,
God.
giving him a cigarette, some bonbons or whatever, and then letting him go ahead and then say, oh, well, let me just clarify with you a little bit.
He said soften it up and
Bud
offer him a
buds.
cigarette.
I think that you all are just annoyed more so that your detective did something that he probably regrets now.
Therein lies the truth. So the judge is finally coming around and seeing, like, hey, yeah, your detective messed up. Their detectives mess up all the time. People mess up all the time, okay? And the police, in particular, mess up all the time. All right, so now the judge makes a ruling.
To take that.
So, that's your ruling. Thank you.
Okay, so the lawyer, this woman, Love, just keeps going on and on and on and on and on. And the judge is like, I've made my ruling. So the lawyer for the defendant, this guy over here, Weinstein or something is his name, Weinstein, I don't know. He's not in the YSL. He's not YSL Weinstein. He doesn't speak enough. But anyhow, he stands up and says, Your Honor, your ruling needs to be a ruling. Ms. Love could talk the ears off a donkey. That's what he said. And there was laughter in the courtroom, y'all. I have never heard this statement, could talk the ears off a donkey. But I kind of love it. I got to be honest. So he just straight up is like, look, just please allow for the ruling. And then the judge gets mad at Miss Love. And then there's a whole fight. And she's like, I was talking. And
You gotta take
the
that
bailiff
L.
stops
Continually
her.
engage in this pattern of behavior, Miss Love. You don't want to accept my ruling.
Your Honor,
And I'm
There you go. This is why I accept the judge's ruling. Right here. Because you're a pain in the ass when you don't. There are routes, there are ways, there are mechanisms to get around that ruling, but you're not going to get around that judge's irritation with you. You're not going to regain a lack of, their rapport that you built. So why waste it on a stupid and, I would argue, somewhat moot point?
I know you're being an advocate, but at some point, stop.
Yeah.
Just stop.
Thank
Yeah, you're
you.
being extra.
Thank you. Everybody has been saying that.
Give a ruling. Good, bad, or indifferent to you. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some.
I do accept
Okay,
that.
no, you-
Okay, so this is Thursday, by the way, day 42, and the jury is not called in yet. I just want to point that out.
You don't.
We have
No,
not-
you don't.
Your Honor, we have just not been able to present the evidence.
No, I
that the state
get it.
has
I
to
get it. And I
present.
get it.
But Your Honor, that's the point that we have the witness here, that we brought the witness here and had him cancel medical appointments to testify to the court about. We brought the witness here.
I
so
made
that we
a
could
ruling.
present-
That has nothing to do with it.
No, Your Honor, I was saying that we were ready to present evidence, and the court is not allowing us to present the evidence. That's all that I'm saying.
There's literally a video of the interrogation where the man says,
lawyer, he invoked his right to not speak anymore.
Oh, here's
And
the defendant
I don't
they're
care
talking about.
what schmoozing Detective Thorpe did out at the Sally Port, taking my client off camera. I don't know what went on down there. I don't know what self-serving, well, I have some idea. I don't know what self-serving statement Detective Thorpe could possibly give to this court that would cause the court to change their order. This continued going back whenever the state loses in this case has got to stop at some point, Your Honor.
Yes! I'm so glad someone said it. Finally.
Thank you.
mic drop.
Yes, thank you. Somebody finally says it. Okay, so now we continue to go on, and YSL Steel is complaining.
The entire park is
because,
now vacant. So when I sit here,
if you recall, Mr. Adrian No Man Bean, he has been on the stand for the last 2 weeks because 1 week they didn't even do anything, and the other, they only get like 8 minutes of testimony a day. So he's been on the stand forever, and he's testifying about this thing that happened in 2013, which I have no idea how that relates to a gang in any way, shape, or form. And Mr. Bean has said to several people, including the state's detective, that he was interviewed in the hospital. Well, guess what? Nobody can find a copy of the hospital interview. Big surprise. Big surprise. So here's YSL Steel arguing about how this interview is gone. It's missing. It's been deleted. And it should be a mistrial. And he's not wrong.
all these videos, I don't get it. And then months later, I'm getting a video on the shooting at the movie theater, which I know you don't know about yet, but it's about Christmas of 2000, maybe 15.
So he asked for the evidence, he never got it. He's not getting the evidence.
And no, to say that I have no
end.
good faith belief because I can't show this honorable court where these statements are, that's my point. It's Brady evidence. This is all Brady evidence. And if this happened in another forum on misrepresenting to this honorable court, I have never done that. I will not do that. And I will never, ever do it to any court. That's not what we do. But I also understand my duty is to make this process rigorous, and I'm going to fight for Jeffrey Williams in every lawful and ethical manner
And that is
the
his
entire
job.
time. And
That
that
is his
includes
job.
destroying Adrian Bean's testimony and revealing the truth. I don't
Also
have
his
to,
job.
by law, give anything to the state. In addition to that, Your Honor,
Correct.
you heard Detective Velasquez.
But Brady evidence is evidence that the state is going to use against you. They have to provide it to the defendant. They have to provide it to the defendant. And again in this case, they have not.
Testify that he destroys recordings. I have never heard that before. You heard Detective Benton say that that
We
is a
had
crime.
whole
Brian's still having a
police
vintage
officer-
performance right now. Just
a whole police officer talk about deleting interviews. I mean, it's unbelievable. You have testimony that deleted interviews. Okay, so YSL Steel interviewed Adrian Bean in a Kroger in January of 2013, and he did it on recording. He now wants to play that interview for the jury, and of course, Miss Love does not want him to. She argues that the statements inside of that recording are regarding facts not in evidence. But Steele argues that they are, in fact, in evidence.
Did you tell the detective at the hospital, Grady Hospital, on September 11, 2013, that it was not you, but your dear friend driving that Nissan vehicle? That's so wrong on so many levels. Number one, he is injecting stuff, a certain...
I don't know why this woman is yelling. You could talk in the courtroom? I just don't get it. Oh, here's Thug. Look how nice he looks on this day.
That's truth. Yeah, they are.
I like this outfit, actually. It's nice looking. Too bad the jury doesn't get to see it.
But you have a good faith basis to ask that.
You haven't heard anything of who he spoke with. That's my point.
That's the point.
But you all can't. But you two, neither one of you can proffer that. It's not proper, Mr. Steele. It's not. It would be a violation before me for you to do so. Well, go ahead and make a statement and see what happens. Go ahead and make a statement and
just let him talk.
I don't know what happened, y'all. Am I still streaming? I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what happened.
Statement disappeared, though. I think there was...
have no idea. I don't know. Okay. Oh, YouTube. Okay. So, I don't know what's going on. I'm very sorry. I don't understand technology.
Right to that side of the building, Your Honor.
You know, it wouldn't
Quinn and Mr.
be...
Bean are talking about this statement.
It wouldn't be lcadilac recapping if there weren't technological issues throughout. Okay. So what ended up happening there is that on that day, which was the 42nd day of 118 days so far, the jury was dismissed at 3:30. The judge looks down, says, "Oh, it's like 3:30. Should we dismiss the jury?" Yes, that is what they do. Now, then we go to the next day, the 43rd day. And then this Adrian Bean comes back on the stand. The most exciting part about Adrian Bean on the stand is Adrian Bean starts going crazy. Here we go.
That has been my statement since I got here. Your Honor, I've been telling y'all, people constantly hit me with this, keep constantly asking me this and that and third about what's going on in 2013 or whatever. I don't remember. I don't know nothing about 2013. All I can tell you is, y'all got my name on a recorder, my phone number on the recorder. These people threatening me.
Oh, yeah. So yesterday on the 42nd day, they like live out loud said Mr. Bean's phone number. And ever since that was on YouTube, he's been blown
Calling my phone, Your Honor, I done lost my job. I got a lot going on behind this here. I put all this behind me, sir.
Hold on. He lost his job and people are calling him. Who's called him, bro? He still has the same phone number from the Kroger interview.
Going on like this. I don't remember nothing for 2013, sir.
Like he's like begging the judge.
Okay.
I constantly keep telling them and constantly keep telling y'all I don't remember nothing for 2013.
I'm going to ask you because I have to lay a foundation. Do you remember telling Detective Quinn on September 17, 2013 on recording, you add a little more hype when you speak with your wife and them from the jail, that you lied to them?
I remember y'all trying to assassinate me right now in 2024. That's what I remember. That's what I remember.
The reason why he's there.
He's so mad. So, yeah, this witness is kind of at his wit's end, and he does not care any longer.
But we even had this, what you just played.
I didn't anticipate his nose and mouth to look like that. He looks like a completely different person in my head.
He does look
Trying to
different.
expose Mr. Steele right now. Mr. Steele, say something to him.
Take your mask off if you wouldn't mind.
Keep it 100 with yourself, not me. We had a conversation in front of the house before we went to the Kroger.
Yeah, you asked to go to the...
I never agreed to do none of this from the beginning. Before we even...
This guy is so much better than Trontavious Stevens. So much better. Okay, here's, let's skip forward to Thug.
You know what I'm saying? Who's that?
I don't like this sweater. I don't like this posture. I don't like his hair looks. He looked so much better the day before. But my understanding is they don't shut off the lights in this man's cell, and they're basically torturing
So we
him.
heard on Miss Love asking him this on direct, saying, do you remember saying that young Thug rolled up and said he saw...
So now we start hearing the recording of Bean and Detective Quinn.
The guy was money or whatever. So, me and Big Fred, we like, y'all go ahead on with that, man, whatever. He seen, I don't know who he says. He just seen the guy was money. The guy with the D in the cage face. Now we all go in there on some lean. Start firing some shots, and some shots just go out. When he come back, I'm looking at DK like, what the hell going on? Like, what you shooting for? What you shooting at? You know what I'm saying? Keep on 10 all the way live. How much?
Okay, so this is the
telling him
interview that Bean
everything.
did after. That's the interview that Bean did after he had the interview in the hospital, and the interview in the hospital is missing. So we, on that day, continue to hear part of Mr. Bean's testimony, and then everyone is dismissed, and a juror in the background talks to the judge, and it turns out she has a job interview today. So the judge dismisses everyone until 3 p.m. today. As you are all aware, they are incapable of starting on time. Incapable of starting on time. So these jurors have to drive into downtown or wherever this courthouse is, park, deal with all that, get in there at 3 p.m. They're probably not even going to start till 4. And if we're quite honest, they probably won't even have anything in front of the jury at all anyhow. This is the trial that will never end. That was it. It was just exciting because there was a lot of, just like a lot of drama, a lot of like stones thrown at each other, a lot of angry judges and angry witnesses and stuff. I don't know, that's I like that kind of high level drama. So that's really it. That was it. It was 8 hours of actual work in the courtroom last week. Oh, Wednesday, they were supposed to come back Wednesday, but it got canceled. So it was 8 hours of actual work in the courtroom last week, and only 2 hours of that with an actual witness actually in front of the jury. And all they were doing was listening to a recording. They had to have been so bored. All right, y'all, that's it. I appreciate you joining me, and please comment, like, subscribe, comment. Let's discuss this. I would really love to discuss this with y'all if you are watching too. I would love to hear your opinions. I love hearing your opinions. I message with you when you have opinions and we talk about it. So thank you for joining me. See you all hopefully on Friday this week, if they even work this week.